Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by The Motley Fool and written by Natasha Gabriel titled 27% of Americans Doom Spend to Cope with Stress. Here's what to do if you're overspending to ease anxiety. The author of this article referenced an Intuit Credit Karma study that found 27% of Americans are doom spending to cope with stress. Doom spending is defined as spending money despite concerns about the economy and foreign affairs to cope with stress. The author goes on to say, spending money on things that can make you happy can provide some stress relief at first. Overspending can lead to consequences that cause greater anxiety, like debt. Here are my thoughts. I feel bad for people who are struggling with stress, especially financial stress. I understand for some individuals, going out and buying something new and exciting may result in some short-term happiness, but as the author indicates, this can result in greater anxiety, especially about debt. I'll expand on that. If you purchase something with credit to feel better, you could end up with a bigger problem if you end up with a lot of debt, especially given the high levels of interest being charged by credit card companies right now. I'm sure some of you have watched those hoarder shows on television before. I'm not a psychologist, but I think some people feel better when they buy stuff and then they never let go of those items. Unfortunately, stuff can often become overwhelming. There are other things in life that people can do to find happiness, in my opinion. There are a lot of things that individuals can do that are free. Going to the library to read books is free. Walking in the park is free. Playing board games with friends is free. These are just a few examples. This might be better than doom spending to feel better. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. What do you think? Do you know people who doom spend to feel better? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Not everyone may need to take on new debt to doom spend and feel better. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Reuters and written by Michael S. Derby titled, New U.S. Workers Offered Record Average Wages in November, New York Fed Says. According to the author, the average full-time annual wage offer moved to $79,160 in November from $69,475 in July, the regional Fed bank said in its survey of consumer expectations. The wage in November was the highest ever in a survey that dates back to 2014 and likely reflects ongoing labor market tightness, with firms being forced to come up with higher levels of cash to secure employees. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to report some good news. In my opinion, it is great that companies are offering higher annual wages. This will help hardworking people deal with how expensive life has gotten in recent years. I hope these employers also do something to adjust the pay for existing employees who have been with the company for a long time. I just hope all employees are being taken care of. Where would some of these companies be without their employees? For some employees, their job is their identity because it is the only thing they have in their life. Not everyone has a healthy work-life balance. I'm curious, do you know people like this? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. Do you know of new hires who are now making more money than existing employees? If so, tell me about that in the comment section below as well. As you all likely know, there has been a lot of talk in the news this past week about the Federal Reserve pausing their interest rate hikes and possibly cutting rates several times in 2024. This hasn't stopped credit card companies from raising interest rates. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Gabriela Cruz Martinez titled, Credit Card Issuers Aren't Done Raising Rates Despite Fed Pause. The author referenced bank rate and indicated the average APR this week was 20.72%. The author went on to say December also marked the 22nd consecutive month in which APRs on new credit card offers have risen, LendingTree found, even despite the Fed's latest pause. At the same time, nearly 4 in 10 cards, 39%, had possible APRs of 29.99% or higher this month, while 13% had interest rates above 30%. By comparison, in September 2019, just 2% of roughly 200 cards reviewed by LendingTree carried APRs of 29.99% or higher, with just 1% above the 30% mark. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure many credit card companies are more than happy to raise the interest rates that they charge. Many will likely make hefty profits by doing this. At the end of the day, credit card companies are in the business to make money. It's not that they are evil corporations. They are extending a service that many people use without having to pay interest. I use credit cards and I take advantage of the cash back. In addition to the cash back, I like the convenience of credit cards, and I like the fact that they are helpful when fraudulent transactions occur. Unfortunately, there are people who are unable to use credit cards responsibly, and they often end up carrying debt and are put in a difficult financial situation. There are Americans who rely on credit cards to pay their bills because life has gotten very expensive due to inflation. Some are not earning enough money to pay all of their bills, and credit cards bridge the gap. Once the credit card debt snowball gets rolling, it can grow very large and become unmanageable very quickly. I hate to see people in a situation where their life becomes consumed by credit card debt. My heart goes out to those who are struggling with credit card debt. I hope they are able to find a way to get their personal finances under control in the near future. There is some unfortunate news that is coming out of General Motors that will impact some of their employees. I read an article today on yahoo.com put out by Motorious and written by Elizabeth Puckett titled, "GM Announces Significant Layoffs and End of Camaro Production." According to the author, 945 workers at the Orion assembly plant where the Chevrolet Bolt is manufactured will be laid off. In addition to that, 369 employees at GM's Lansing Grand River assembly and stamping plant face layoffs. According to the author, and I'll quote, "This decision aligns with GM's move to discontinue the Chevrolet Camaro, a staple model produced at this facility." Here are my thoughts. This is terrible news around the holidays for these employees. I hope some of them will either be hired back by General Motors in the future or find new jobs quickly so that their families are not impacted by this. It is sad to hear that General Motors is killing off the Camaro. While I have never been fond of the new Camaro styling, I have liked several Camaros over the years. My favorite model year is 1969. I really liked the styling that year. I always thought it would be cool to own a genuine 1969 Z28 with matching numbers. I've always liked the blue with the dual white stripes. Back in the mid-1980s, I really liked the IROC Z Camaros. For that era, the styling was quite different than most cars on the road. The performance was really terrible by today's standards, but the IROC Zs were very popular back in the 1980s. Even the engine looked cool with the tuned port injection manifold as opposed to the boring round air cleaner sitting on top of the engine like many other cars had during that era. I wonder if General Motors will bring back the Camaro as an all-electric model at some point. The Corvette is transitioning to all-electric, so it is certainly a remote possibility. What do you think about GM getting rid of the Camaro? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Here's some other good news. Chevrolet didn't make the list of an auto brand with the worst drivers. I read an article today on yahoo.com put out by Autoblog and written by Chris Teague titled, "Study, Ram has the worst drivers of any auto brand." According to the author, a recent study from LendingTree found that drivers of some brands rack up more accidents, DUIs, and other citations at much higher rates than others. Ram drivers were the worst of the 30 brands LendingTree analyzed, with 32.90 incidents per 1,000 drivers between November 2022 and 2023. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I found this to be very interesting. I suspect insurance carriers have their own data sets that they analyze for the purpose of rates. It would be very interesting to know where the Ram ranks in the data that insurance companies look at. If you are curious about the 10 brands with the most driving incidents from the Lending Tree study, they are number 1, Ram, number 2, Tesla, number 3, Subaru, 4, Volkswagen, 5, Mazda, 6, BMW, 7, Lexus, 8, Infiniti, 9, Hyundai, and 10, Toyota. What I found most interesting is that BMW drivers had the highest DUI rates, which were almost twice the number of DUIs of the second closest brand, Ram. In my opinion, some BMW owners may be spending a lot of money. Not only is the cost of a BMW expensive, but so is the maintenance. If you get a DUI and are fortunate enough to keep your license by taking advantage of some type of state program, your insurance on that BMW will also likely go up. I'm sure insurance on a BMW is already expensive without a DUI because it is a luxury brand and those cars are expensive to repair when they are involved in accidents. What do you think of all of this car data? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.